Well, hello there, Dan and Shannon. Well, this is exciting, an opportunity to share a little bit about our relationship together for your 60th birthday. We regret we can't be there. We have lots of family stuff going on, but we are grateful for the opportunity to share just a few thoughts with you. Um, I just want to review back when I first met Dan and Shannon. They had the locksmith business, and we were just so delightful to have Dan do the locksmithing on the church houses. And of course, later on, a few years later, he hired on with the church, and we got to work together, and that was some of the best times. I've just always loved Dan and enjoyed working with him.
Now, for me, my first experience directly was seminary, where I got to teach Stacy and Annie and Stephanie. I didn't get Carolyn, but the support of Dan and Shannon, loving those daughters and wanting what was best for them, and so grateful for any little thing anybody did. That was a very rare thing among parents. Had a lot of parents who were very good at complaining and yelling and pointing fingers, but Dan and Shannon were not at all like that. Always complimentary and thankful. What a delight.
So as time got on and we worked together, of course, we got to know Shannon much more and found out what an amazing lady she is and that you are, and we just realized what a special couple you are, and
one of the first ways we recognized that was when we knew that our oldest daughter Amy had some really hard times and temporarily had fallen away kind of from the church and was pulling away from us personally, and it was a hard time for us, and we didn't know how to help her. And at one point, she really needed a car, and we were not allowed to know that. But God provided Dan and Shannon, who gave Amy a car to use, and when we found that out, I was so humbled, because what a gracious thing to do, what a kind thing to do. Shannon is a real example to me of what a real Relief Society sister ought to be, something that I've never felt I was. But Shannon always showed great love for all of the sisters and deep concern for their real needs, not just superficial needs, and such an example.
Well, we really cherish our years together and the experiences and times, visits and that. It was a little bit of a shock that you really did move away, but life keeps happening. We were just grateful that both you, Dan, and Shannon were able to come out and spend a few days with us in New York. It was just fun to have you out there and spend a few days together before you moved.
Well, before I hit that spot, I just want to say all of the visits that we had were so much fun. We talked a lot about doctrines of the gospel, and that it was fun to have somebody who really cared and wanted to talk about the gospel. We loved that. Shannon always fed us, always, and she always makes good food, always good food. We also are indebted to you too for being concerned about our health, our physical health, as we've had some challenges, helping us out with oils and things, diet things that make a difference. We also loved the fact that, it seemed like you just cared about everything about us. Our physical well-being, our spiritual well-being, our social well-being, our family well-being. You just cared about all of it. Now let's talk about the New York visit.
Okay, go ahead and share just a little bit about that.
Well, what I loved was when you came out to New York, most people who come out to New York want to see the sights, and it upper state New York is beautiful. And we were on a mission there, and so we had a lot of duties to do, and we couldn't take you around very much, but we gave you a lot of options, and some of them were very touristy. And Dan and Shannon didn't go for that. They went back to the Sacred Grove, back to Joseph Smith's home, back to the Grandin building, back to these
Hill Cumorah,
over and over again, as many times as you could while you were there, which shows that your real interest wasn't being tourists. It was in feeding your spirit. That was so impressive to us.
Well, we just want you to know that you're two of the most awesome people we know, and we have really treasured our relationship together.
You are hardworking. You are true disciples of Christ. You're knowledgeable in many, many areas, and you're kind-hearted, and you are a blessing wherever you may be. And
so today we wish you
a great 60th. We
birthday.
love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.